Cockroach Wheels are the original Australian skateboard wheel company. Go and get yourself a set of cockies. You'll be stoked. They're the best wheels I've ridden in a long time. Cockroach Wheels. You. Well, here we are, gentlemen. So, Mr. John Bogaerts, so good to have you and celebrate your life today.
Thank
How
you.
you feeling?
Yeah, stoked
Good.
to be here. Honoured to be here.
Honoured, nice. Yeah. And we've also got close friends of yours.
Very close,
Mr.
yes.
Mike Cossettini and Sean Mussett, past guest. Gravel Burns, such a pleasure. Bunch of legends. Yeah, so listen, John, I want to get stuck straight into it today. And I was driving down here with Gravel and I was just thinking about like the value of friendships. And can you describe to us the significance of these long-term friendships that you have as you reflect upon it in your older years?
Oh, look, it's the you're only as good as the people you got around you. So I think that sums it up today. Yeah. So long and tremendous relationship with these guys. Sort of, I guess it helps mould who you are, who you become.
100%, dude. So how did you meet these guys? Like, give us the backstory.
Oh,
like,
obviously through skating.
Okay.
79, Bar Beach, the spiritual home of skateboarding in Newcastle.
Okay.
Met Cos there, and we had a Wesnell, the old Wesnell fiberglass quarter pipes. They were a couple of the first facilities that council put into Newcastle. There was one at Bar Beach, 6 foot transition that went to 6 feet high. So it was 6 to 6. It was ultra tight, and it had timber coping. They were made out of fiberglass from a Wesnell factory in Sydney somewhere, I do believe. Yeah, they put one over at Stockton. Yeah.
So you rocked up one day and you seen these two?
I met Cos there.
Okay.
Yeah, that would have been 79.
Yeah, 79. Yeah, that was just prior to it getting installed. There was the Wesnell company and the council had their Wesnell team come up to Mereweather Surf Club car park, and they did a demo. And a month later, we got our own ramps. So we had all these Sydney guys from the Wesnell team, plus one of our Newcastle guys, Andrew Gordon, who was already involved with the Wesnell people. And it went from there. So that was the beginning of probably the first transition skating scene in Newcastle.
Wow. Is this before Hully's ramp?
Yes.
Well before.
Yeah, that was late 79, and then a bit later on, Sean, we met you up there.
Yeah, I came down from Coffs Harbour to go to uni in 85, and I was skating that ramp, and I saw Cos. Cos came over, and he does what Cos does, and got very excited, and opened up the Newcastle scene to me, got me in his bongo van or whatever it was. We drove around to what was his Reese's place, ramp. And you guys were in the middle of building what I don't think ever got skated. Did it ever get skated, that ramp?
Oh, a little. I think we had some assistance from Reese's back veranda. Some of the timber went missing from the veranda, got put into the ramp, but we made it happen. It wasn't the prettiest structure to skate, but I do remember Sean at Bar Beach because he had his skate shorts were cut off pajama pants.
I've heard about this.
Yeah.
He wore a nappy on his head.
Yeah.
Jim Turvey used to call him nappy head.
Undy head.
Undy head.
Yeah.
Look at bandana. You look rad. You look like a Tony Alva wannabe.
Thanks.
Nah, you were.
Yeah. And in that demo that Cos mentioned, that was at Mereweather Beach with the Wesnell team, and I'm trying to think maybe Chris Briggs,
Sam Lightfoot.
That's right.
Biff Murdoch. Yeah.
Some big names.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah.
And I think it got sessioned. It was that popular while they left it there. It got car headlights were shone on it, and it got skated until it was removed. We were so hungry for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a yellow too, from memory. It was a yellow ramp, and the installed ramp was like an aqua green. Wow. Yeah. So
what drew you to skateboarding, Cos, originally in that era when it wasn't the done thing?
Right. Okay. Well, I started skating in 1975, like I guess what people would call the Russ Howell era. He came to Australia. I didn't have first-hand experience of seeing him skate, but through television, seeing him on TV segments. So that was my starting point. Going, like many kids in Newcastle did, went to Ray Richards' surf shop, bought the Bain Superflex or the Chicago Trucks and Wheels, and went from there.
Just enamoured by it. What about you, John? What got you to it?
Yeah, just our first skateboard was a Surfer Sam with the rubber wheels and the big red thick timber deck. And just started with that and was just hooked around the streets. And I distinctly remember the first competition Newcastle had over at Garden City. It was, which was
75. It was
75.
just when colour television was starting up in Australia.
Describe that competition though. What was involved? Was it in and out of cones type of vibe, or?
Well, that was part of it. The big part of it was it was on a loading dock at the rear of the shopping centre, 75, and just involved getting down the runway of the loading dock basically onto the flat area. And it was televised by NBN television back in the day. Yeah, 75.
The local TV station.
There was people everywhere. It was crazy. Good times, yeah.
Had you been surfing before that? Like, was surfing
a little bit. No, skating was first.
Skating was first.
Surfing comes second. Yeah, so, yeah.
Wow, man. There's some magic in the water in that area, and it's such a deep history. And some of the names you mentioned, like Biff Murdoch and Sam Lightfoot, being drawn to the area.
Yes.
Why do you think that was so?
Oh, look, I think Newcastle's just a good place, geographically, a good part of the world. We've got some nice beaches. Everything's pretty easy going. You don't have to travel too far to get to where you got to go, as you probably experienced.
Yeah, it's quite compact, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, so what about you, Sean? Like, I know I've had you on the show before, and when you first met these two, was it an immediate like, hey, we're going to be friends for life? Or was it a slow evolution?
Yeah, it's funny when you said that today. I think when you get along with people immediately through skateboarding, you have we basically come from very similar backgrounds, got into skateboarding about the same time, did the same sort of skateboarding. But the thing that I cherish about our group of skaters, these guys in particular and a couple of other very close friends, is that I didn't have that in Coffs Harbour. It was my brother and I, a couple of other guys when I was in middle high school, but really by the time I left Coffs Harbour I was the only skateboarder in Coffs Harbour. And then this guy just comes up to me at the skate park who just is so excited about skateboarding and that I'm there skateboarding, and he didn't know who I was, and we copped each other's story, and next thing you know, we're 40 years later sitting in a studio talking about skateboarding. But for me, it was just this immediate brotherhood that I never had as a skateboarder. I didn't have a community that I came from, and that became my community. And then it travelled very, very quickly from there. Like very soon after, we were, within 12 months, we were building Ridge Street out of Coz's dad's factory.
Yeah.
So it was for me. That was what I missed, that I didn't realise I missed until I had it.
Yeah, right. Fast forward 40 years. I don't care who answers this. Do you feel like the same brotherhood and sense of community still exists in skateboarding?
Oh yeah.
You think it does?
For sure. Yeah.
How's it changed though?
Oh well, obviously, look, I think things have become bigger. And obviously a lot more facilities, whether people like it or not. I guess having it in the Olympics has sort of opened up the door for more funding for facilities.
Yeah.
For the purist, it mightn't be everyone's cup of tea, but I guess it's got us some good facilities. And if people want to head down that path of the Olympic side of things, then they can go that way, and they can always come back, get back to the grassroots. So I think that's the beauty of it,
Yeah, totally. I asked Adrian Jones this, and when he was on the show, we actually watched Keegan Palmer's run in the recent Olympics, just to get his thoughts and whether or not he thought he'd ever see skateboarding in the Olympics. So I'm going to ask you now, how do you feel when you see skateboarding in the Olympics?
Yeah, I love it.
You do?
I think it's fantastic, yeah. Okay. Like I said,
you too, Cos?
Yeah, well, some of those guys that we see in the Olympics now, we had involvement with when we were younger. So when they were younger, I had a succession of years where I judged the ABC skate comp, and I can remember judging a young Keegan Palmer, and he had that ability to put a run together. That he knew how much he had to do to qualify, then he knew how much he had to do in the finals, and then he knew how to put the icing on just right. And he's been doing that. What he did at the Olympics, he's been doing since he was a little one. And we used to see that at Bar Beach and in those bowl comps.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's so crazy. Yeah. Listen, you're lovely through the week. Yourself and your lovely wife have been, digging up all this archival images and video footage.
Deep digging.
It's amazing. Yeah, your wife Jo has been emailing some stuff, and I'm sure you two have been through some stuff. So I might get Jock to get our first image up and we'll have a chat.
Yeah.
So we've got this one up. Can you see that on the monitor there?
Oh, yes. That's Peppermint Park, Port Macquarie.
Peppermint Park, Port Macquarie, yeah. So tell us about the board you're riding, like that front side turn you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a front side air.
Yeah, start of a front side air.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was off the extension, but we're building on it, So that was a Sims Bowl-a-rama. It was the very first of the concave series.
Oh, really?
Yes. And independent 151 trucks, stage 1 independent 151 trucks.
Dude.
Yeah. And maybe purple mini cubes, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So how old were you there, you think?
Oh, geez. Maybe around 14, 13.
13.
Yeah.
All right. And you do regular trips up to Peppermint Park from Newcastle?
Yeah.
So the other one where you're doing the backside turn?
Yep, that's 79 at Bar Beach quarter pipe, the Wesnell quarter pipe. Yeah.
That's the quarter pipe you're talking
yes,
about. How
that's from
insane!
the back.
That's John, the grommet of our scene. That he was the youngest by far, and he was the little dude out of the whole crew.
So that's how you recognise John as the grom of the crew.
Well, I guess in some ways I still do, because that's when I met John. That's what John looked like. That's what he wore. That's was his setup. And there's always going to be a part of John that looks like that to me. So yeah.
No way.
I think that was the it was a Sims skateboard. It was it was the first of the Chicago sealed bearing trucks, where Chicago, they had that little very narrow open bearing truck that the open bearing wheels went on, and that was the first of the seal bearing trucks. It had like a Chicago logo but in a semicircle across the hanger. Remember that?
Yeah.
And maybe Sims Pure Juice wheels, I think. Yeah. From Ray Richards Surf Shop in Newcastle.
Ray Richards.
Yep, out the back.
And the only place to buy skateboards in the area?
Well, pretty much at that time.
Yeah, there was another shop in a place called the Hunter Village. It was a ski and skate shop, and they also sold martial arts clothing from memory.
That's right,
yeah. I bought my first Sims Concave Series deck from there. I bought the Andrecht. John had the Bowl-a-rama. I had the Andrecht at one stage. So
yeah, that's right. I think I got the Lamar. That might have been from Skateboard World. Yeah.
Like the hand plant?
Yeah.
What actually, just off a tangent, an Andrecht hand plant, how's that different?
It's
where you
behind
grab, it's behind your leg,
behind your
isn't it?
leg, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And an eggplant is front hand inverts, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Sorry, just triggered I've always wondered what the difference was between an Andrecht and an eggplant.
I'm thinking the eggplant's easier in my world.
Particularly if you're doing an Andrecht the way they ended up being developed, where you basically pulled your board so far over it was basically touching the back of your helmet, like Phillips and Blender and Losi. They were flapping those things over at Tony Hawk, obviously, till they were basically folded in half.
Folded in half, okay. Were your parents supportive of your skateboarding at that age?
Yes,
they were.
Yeah, very supportive.
How would you describe your relationship with him in general?
In
that era.
Yeah, really, fond memories. Yeah, they used to lug me around everywhere. I remember doing trips up to Queensland and skating all those places out the back of the two bowls. What was that place out the back? It had the Ashmore. That's it, with that mad roll. And I remember the first day they took me out there. I skated the little bowl. The big bowl had this monster. It was a vertical drop. It was just like, I'm not going down there. So I skated the little bowl the first day. We went back the next day, and I nailed the big bowl. It was all right. And it had this transition. I distinctly remember it. It had this sort of a decent, sort of a nice curve, but then just before it got to vertical, it just kinked. There was a kink in the wall, so the vertical was actually sort of felt like it was over vertical, but there's this kink that you hit and then you got up onto it, you know.
No way. Yeah. So crazy.
Yeah.
At what point did you realise, hey, I'm getting pretty good at this, and sponsors such as Bonza became interested in you? How old were you?
Oh, that would have been in my early 20s, I suppose.
Early 20s?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
was there a moment?
No, I don't think so. I think we just sort of gone through the having Ridge Street, and then Ridge Street wasn't there anymore, and we were spending a lot of time skating in Sydney, like going to Mona Vale every Sunday for years, you know. Mona Vale vert ramp, it was unreal. Good times.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What else we got up there, Jock? Can we get the next one up? We'll have a chat about it, because there's some gold in there. We've got a fair few to get through, so... Now, can I just guess, the one on the right, is that Woden vert ramp in Canberra?
Woden, yeah.
Hey?
That's
I knew it.
That's a Pangy photo, yeah.
Yeah, David Pang photo. How insane.
Yep.
But let's talk about the one on the left first, because that invert is definitely under the coping.
Sure is. Old school.
So where was that?
That's Bar Beach. That's
the quarters?
That's the quarter
with
pipe.
With the wooden coping?
Yep.
No way, dude.
That's got to be 79, because I've got the imitation Norcon knee pads on there, and
Imitation.
We used to call them bubbles, didn't we? Bubble pads? Bubbles?
Yeah, they were the bubbles, yeah.
Actually, let's talk about knee pads. Are they Rector knee pads at Woden there?
Yes.
Hey?
Yeah, Rectors.
Interesting.
Yep.
Nice. So travelling to, that's epic. We'll talk about that. Travelling to places like Canberra to skate a vert ramp, how regular was that?
Oh, not very often. We just did a few trips, I think. Nice. We were down there just before the Bones Brigade did a demo one year. We did that, and then, actually went down, skated the bowl there. The bowl was still pretty all right, you know.
Interesting. Yeah. Nice one. Far out. And so getting on Bonza was pretty significant because they turned you pro.
Yes.
And as you can see up on the screen, if you go back to that last one, we've got a graphic that I feel is iconic because I remember it as a kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how did that come about?
Well, you can thank Sean for that.
Can I hold up the T-shirt, Sean?
Yeah.
So your first ever board graphic designed by?
Gravel
Burns.
The man.
Sean Mussett.
That's it.
So you asked Sean to do it for you?
I did, because I'm not real good when it comes to art. So Sean was all over it, so I thought he's the man for the job.
Well, tell us what's going on in the picture. I mean, it's on the screen as well. But tell us what's going on in that picture. Like
that's Newcastle, I guess.
I can see the steelworks in there.
That's a BHP.
Yeah.
And, we've got, the industry. A pool. Yeah, we used to get around and skate a few pools, and just to incorporate everything into it, you know, make it as Newcastle as what we can.
Yeah, and he's got the O.
Kidney
bowl.
Yeah.
Is the skater anyone in particular? It looks like Jim Gray.
Yeah, it's actually been nicked. That the original picture I had in there was John doing an invert, and it was I'd photocopied it off a photo I took. It was actually an invert of you on another Wesnell ramp over at
Stockton?
No, the one Artarmon.
Artarmon. Yeah.
And we went. John and I skated there one day, and I took a couple of, because I was at art school and I was doing, photo stuff for art school, and taking photos of skateboarding was good and easy. And I had a really nice photo of John doing an invert on the coping there.
Nice.
And I gave them, like, all of the lettering was hand drawn, and the steelworks and stuff was originally hand drawn. That's been composed for the graphic. But the photo with John, I don't know, just
Just
disappeared.
worked.
Yeah, it just I don't whether they couldn't work with the image. It wasn't the resolution wasn't good enough. It was a photocopy, and it looked like it was. I was sort of disappointed because that's what I was going for was that tone dropout thing, and then this guy comes out of nowhere, who's not John. It was like it just made me think it was a bit Veriflexy to me, like that. Once Veriflex went to Kmart, it just made me think of that, and I was disappointed. I like the textures and stuff. But I've recently redone the graphic, and I have got not the invert. I've got the invert picture that Jim used for that exhibition of John doing the 1 foot invert. I've got that in there.
Yeah,
in the redone graphic.
ramp.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, but it was it literally happened on mine and Coz's kitchen table. John said, "Hey, I need a graphic," just the same as Al Tyndall did with Skateboard Australia. I need a logo. It just got done on the kitchen table in Cameron Street.
Done.
Yep.
And now it's timeless.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So cool.
I think it's sort of stood the test of time. People still like it. A few young people, still approaching me saying, "How cool's that graphic?" You know.
Do you think it goes in cycles? Like you've seen cycles now over the years, like it's sort of re-emerges, disappears, re-emerges.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Interesting. Outside of skateboarding in those teen years, from like, when you're skating through your teens, like what other things were you into?
Oh, surfing. Yeah.
Yeah, surfing.
Surfing, working.
Working.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your first job?
Electrician.
So did you finish school early or?
Yeah, year 10.
Okay.
Yeah, finished in year 10 and got myself a trade like a lot of people do over at the BHP at Newcastle. And did my 4-year apprenticeship over there. And then when we finished up there, we left with Sim and went to Torquay for about 6 months. Went and lived down there. Yeah.
Just to skate and surf?
Just to skate and surf because the Rip Curl, the big ramp behind the Rip Curl factory was there. So we went and based ourselves down there for 6 months. It was good.
And is that where they're having like the legendary ramp riot?
Yes.
Skate demos and comps?
Yes.
Or comp? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were going in that?
We saw the demo. Like they had the big demo down there.
That
and,
famous, infamous demo with Tony Hawk.
Yeah, Jeff
Christian
Phillips and all
Hosoi.
that. Yeah. And the lead up was good because, skating, Sim and I skated with Mark Gonzalez and he was a really good vert skater.
He was,
And Chris Payne.
Yeah.
And Gregor Rankin was skating back
from
then.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
Lee Ralph?
Lee wasn't there. Oh, well, Lee was there, but
Pre-Lee.
in the lead up, I don't remember skating with Lee, but he was there. I think he was there for the demo. Yeah. So, but lots of Simon Sack Reynolds.
Yeah.
He was living down there as well. Sack.
No
So,
way.
yeah,
Good times?
good times.
Best memories.
100%.
Then what happened from there? So you had a nice stint.
Yeah.
And came back to...
We had to come back, and I ended up going to the States skating a couple of times, and skated Raging Waters and Upland and
That famous vert ramp that's in... I
the
think- is that
boomerang,
in a Santa
boomerang ramp.
I remember the first one, Santa Cruz
San
movie
Jose.
with Wheels of Fire? Streets
Yes.
of Fire.
Yes.
That's the one in that one, isn't it?
Yes.
No way you skated that.
Yeah, that was in San Jose. Yeah, Raging Waters, the big water park there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow, like, did you notice, coming from Australia, a big change in the standard of skateboarding? Cos is like, did you go with him, Cos?
No, I went separately. I went in March 1987, and I spent some time at Del Mar Skate Park, north of San Diego, and the depth of even the amateur ranks was like tenfold. The depth, like the people that you'd session with in the keyhole were like, you'd just stand back and take it all in, and there were people you'd never heard of at the time, but we were talking about like the Reese Simpsons and etc., who emerged as pros not long after. But real depth over there, and it's just because they had more facilities. They had, their skate parks had those big square meters, and the kids had grown up in the parks. From that late 70s era of all those iconic parks. So you could just see it and feel it. Yeah.
And you skated the legendary Del Mar skate park.
Yeah.
The bowl.
Yeah, I felt very fortunate.
Yeah. Did you see any of some of those legends? Like, did you see Hawk and Cab and those guys?
At Del Mar itself, I saw Adrian Domain skate, Reese Simpson, as I said, but I went to a demo, a weekend demo. I was actually I went to Mike McGill's skate shop, and Adrian Domain was working behind the counter, and he told me that there was going to be this demo at Witt's surf shop at Oceanside. So I caught the bus this Saturday morning up there and got all these amazing photos, and it was Lester and Jim Gray, Chris Miller, who was ripping, Tony Hawk, even Paul Schmidt. He was on the ramp.
Paul Schmidt.
Sin Iglesia from, I'm not sure if I can say his last name right, but from Sydney. He was over there doing airwalk at the time. He was hanging out at the ramp. So
Was Lester there?
Yeah, Lester was
Lester
there.
Kasai?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is some pretty it's just like moments in history. It's just amazing, you know. So were your eyes opened as well, John? Did it elevate your skateboarding personally?
Oh yeah.
In what way mainly?
I just exposed to what could be achieved, you know. So the standard was really high. We had we just touched upon it before when we were talking. I think 86 in Newcastle when we had that competition at Ridge Street on our ramp. We had Lee Ralph. Lee ended up winning it.
He went to Newcastle for.
No, he lived there for a while.
In Newcastle.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, just prior to going to the States, he lived there. He would have Lee and Gregor would have been there 6 months.
6 months, I reckon.
Yeah. So I think Gregor had just come back from the States, and he was like a really good Santa Cruz amateur. You know what I mean? Really good for back in the day, and he'd had a back injury and he wasn't skating. So Lee was charging, and he was sort of light years ahead of everyone else at the time. And we had this comp at Ridge Street, and it was a bit of a defining moment, I thought, because it was 86. I think Darren Burford's ramp on the Gold Coast, that had been pulled down. Hulley's ramp in Sydney, it wasn't around. That had been pulled down as well. And it was like, I don't think there was anything happening too much in Melbourne, because I'm pretty sure we just had the only ramp that was up and running at the time, because all the Chris Payne and a few of the guys from Melbourne, they'd driven up there overnight. Like, I remember it was in a mini minor. They'd ripped the front seats out. They'd driven it from Melbourne from the back seat, only 3 cylinders running. Like, people just doing what they had to do to get there. You know what I mean? And the righteous guys.
Why'd they rip his front seat out?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Because Chris was so tall, I guess. He just didn't fit in otherwise.
Yeah, he's a big lanky guy.
Yeah.
So, they'd driven up. And
they're sitting in the back seat,
driving it from the back
seat.
seat. Yeah. So, anyway, they got the job done, and Toby Maloney and all the righteous guys from Brisbane were there. And I think it was the only ramp around at the time, pretty much, on the East Coast. Yeah.
That's so insane. Describe Lee Ralph's personality of the era. He's a character, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in that time, was he just wild? Like, what was he like to be around?
No, I think he was pretty humble at the time.
Yeah,
quiet.
very much. He was in a teetotaling phase. So it was very much about, if they weren't skating, they were drinking cups of tea, herbal tea, and learning how to play guitar. Like these, I remember going around to their place. Gregor and Lee were living with Colin Brown, and all these guys from New Zealand, and going around to their house. And Lee and Gregor were doing all this finger tapping guitar, and they were really applying themselves to it. So they were like, what if anything required technical prowess, or whether it was their skating or guitar playing, everything had to be done just right. And so they were very they were very focused. They seemed very, very focused, and they'd seemed like they'd been operating that way for some time. But it was kind of like their modus operandi was it's got to be done this way. You know, we're applying ourselves to this. Yeah, very. It was all about mastery.
Yeah, and they were interesting guys. They kept to themselves, but they had their own sort of language. Not, I guess, but it was English. It was, but they had this funny little Kiwi twang, and they just had in jokes. You know, like even then, I mean, it's legend now. Their in jokes and their sort of the way they were between each other. But like I remember, because Cos and I were in a band, and Cos was basically the only person I knew who could play a guitar, and they would come round and sit and drink cups of tea on our lounge room floor and watch skate videos and play Cos's guitar. and I was just flabbergasted at what they were doing. Like, you know, Cos was a good guitar player and he played chords and, you know, made songs and stuff. These guys, well, I didn't know what they were doing, but they spoke their language and played the guitar and rewound bits of videos and just like stopped talking for a minute, and then Gregor would pause, rewind, point.
Like super focused.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, like what Cos was saying is absolutely, they were driven, absolutely driven.
It's interesting because that era is synonymous with heavy partying and just sort of wild behaviour. And I guess as an outsider looking in, I always assumed that that's what was going on. Heavy, hard, skate hard, party hard, drink hard, take drugs, probably smoke weed. But you're saying sort of the contrary to that.
Oh, no, they were pretty straight edge, weren't they?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's maybe, I imagine perhaps because they'd come from relative isolation, they'd come from rural or maybe semi-rural New Zealand, that's just how things, maybe it was a cultural norm for them that, you know, we've devoted ourselves to skating. This is how we're going to operate. Yeah. So that we do get good at it.
Yeah. It's really cool to hear because, I mean, let's face it, those two, Gregor and Lee Ralph, man, they were just chargers.
I think it was a real stepping stone. It was quite transitional from that point in 86 in Ridge Street to Lee going to the States, and I think that's when it all started from when he left Newcastle.
As we get into the late 80s, you know, you're skating, still sponsored by Bonza.
Yeah.
And we start to transition into the 90s. Like, can you make some observations about the change that you've seen in skateboarding as especially vert skating as we hit the 90s?
Obviously, vert really started to die off, and that's when we sort of, things started to transition into street skating. Yeah.
How'd you feel about that?
Oh, look, it was fine. We used to do the Mona Vale trips every Sunday. You know, these guys, Macca, Mick Jack, Sim. Good big shout out to Macca and Sim. They're a big part of everything. You know, or Andrew Gordon. He was really driven good, wasn't he? So yeah, every Sunday for years we go down and skate Mona and
meet up with Sydney crew.
Yeah.
Who are we talking here?
Ted,
John Gray,
Finn,
Errol.
Yep, Biff.
Wow.
Yeah, good Sunday sessions down there.
What a crew.
Yeah, it was a bit of a drive. It was a good 2.5 hours to get from Newcastle to Mona. And
what kind of car were you rocking back then?
Oh, I had I had a Falcon.
Did you?
XD Falcon, yeah, it was all right. And Sean used to get it doubled down sometimes on back of Goog's bike.
I said this to Shan weeks ago. Yeah, Andrew and I, when I was in my last year at uni and he was working in a servo, he'd have days and days off, and we'd just go down 2 or 3 times a week I'd be on the back of his motorbike. It was horrendous.
I love that story. I love that story, Todd. Just freezing your ass off on the back of the motorbike.
Well, I think we're pretty nomadic, weren't we, really?
We had to be, and it's really difficult for people, Newcastle skaters now, to understand that to be a Newcastle skater you had to be passionate, which they are still, but you had to drive. Like, you couldn't, there was no skateboarding in Newcastle once Ridge Street stopped. We actually thought the velodrome ramp was going to be a permanent fixture. It lasted, I don't even remember, but maybe 2 months or something.
Yeah, right.
But then you're back on the road, and we did it for years and years and years and years until Bar Beach was built.
I don't think you could question our commitment. And all the trips to Quakers Hill as well. Yeah.
No way.
Quakers Hill.
It comes up, Quakers Hill's come up a lot in other podcasts, you know. Sounds like it was very significant in terms of the progression.
Oh, for sure. And I remember going there one time, and Johnny Gray and John Finlay thought it'd be funny to send me on a shortcut via Pete's Ridge. We had to get the ferry across. We were going forever. Yeah, they told us it was a shortcut, but it was anything but a shortcut.
What, slow ferry?
Yeah, the little ferry that went across the river there down the bottom of Pete's
So we had to
Ridge,
wait for the ferry, then it was slow.
And all these windy roads. Yeah, it was a bit. They set us up. It took forever. It added like another 2 hours to the trip.
Oh, no way. That's crazy. Let's get some more images up. I want to get a picture up. What do we got? I love this. It's so fun. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll fast forward a little bit here. And we'll go back to the chronology of your life a little bit, but let's talk about these pictures. So The picture of you in Bar Beach Bowl. Let's talk about that first.
Yeah, that's a layback, or it's about to be.
About to be a layback.
About to be a layback, yeah.
Yeah, what year do you reckon that was? It'd be more in recent times.
Oh, that'd be about 8 years ago, I think.
8 years ago.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a black label board from memory, but yeah, that'd be. Oh, I think Jeremy took that photo, did he?
Jeremy Rolling, Gembot.
Yeah, I think Gembot took that one. Yeah.
Nice. You look like you're really concentrating, which is good.
Well, you're trying to not take it to tail. So,
Okay.
yeah. Try and get it in without the tail scraping.
Yeah, and like, I mean, these are some things I've had written down actually. Like, I know we are fast forwarding and we will go back, but skateboarding as an older person, you know, how's it evolved in terms of not just physically but mentally? So, like I said, you're concentrating harder there. Has the fear developed in you over the years? What do you think it is?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a bit of fear, but that can be a good thing. You can make it work for you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. No major injuries?
Yeah, broken both wrists
Yeah.
in the last decade.
Okay.
I got pins and plates and screws, but you know that's part of it.
Bar Beach Bowl, very significant to the Newcastle scene.
Yes.
And I know that you've been integral in its creation. So can you tell us the backstory there? How did it come about?
Well, I think historically speaking, we've been trying for years to get a decent facility, and I think it was like a bit of the last chance saloon sort of scenario. I'd seen Bondi, I'd seen Frankston Bowl, and I thought, surely we can get something in Newcastle along these lines, you know what I mean? And I met a bloke called Dave Boatswain in my travels, and Dave gave us a real big hand with getting everything together. He was a big part of it too, and I think it's one of those when the planets align scenarios, because as far as council went in Newcastle, we didn't ever have a real progressive council. And on this occasion, we got this pretty big submission. It was almost like a brief of evidence together, and we submitted it to the council. We're just fortunate that we had some progressive, forward-thinking councillors on board, and it all married up with when Kevin Rudd put out all that stimulus money, the stimulus package.
I remember that. I got $900 in my account for just appeared in my account. I'll
Yeah,
never forget that.
Yeah.
Wow, free money.
So we had the good submission. We had an understanding and progressive council. We had Kevin 07 throwing all the stimulus package money around to get things stimulated, and we had Bar Beach, which was the prime location, and we went with an upgrade because it's as far as getting skate parks go, it's easier to do an upgrade than to try and put it in a new location. Less hoops to jump through. So yeah, like I said, it was like the perfect scenario.
Wow, man.
Yeah, planets aligned.
And since then, it's been just the focal point of so much progressive bowl skating. And were you one of the founders of the ABC?
Well, that was Chad and Sasha.
Yep.
Chad Ford and Sasha Sinehurst. They
So
had
it's the Australian Bowl Riding Championships.
Yep. Yeah. They had Bowl-a-rama and Bondi was pretty well established, and then Bar Beach come along, and council were like, we're keen to do a Bowl-a-rama style competition in Newcastle, and I just went and spoke to Chad and Sasha, and come up with the ABC, and sort of they went hand in hand together, you know what I mean? They complemented each other, and it was the pros are coming over for a week to skate Bondi. They may as well stay 2 weeks and skate Bar Beach as well. So it gained a fair bit of momentum.
So why did it stop then? Like, was it just because Bowl-a-rama stopped as well?
Oh, I think it was a combination of funding. We went through all the COVID business, and it's all tragically seemed to die natural death. It was a shame because it just brought everyone together. It was more than just a a competition. They had the art shows. There was all the
At
lead up to
Bowl-a-rama.
it. Yeah.
Was there art shows for the ABC as well?
Oh, I don't think we had an art show for ABC. There was Love and Guts for
That was for
Bowl-a-rama.
Yeah.
That was quite good. That went for ages. So it wasn't just a skate competition. There was more to it. But I've mentioned to Cos before that it was good how Chad and Sasha, they just had this ability to make everyone feel so welcome. You know.
Chad Ford.
Yeah.
Sasha Steinhurst.
Steinhurst, yeah.
Steinhurst.
So yeah, good times. But maybe we need to get something else up and running.
I think a key to it was that that was a time when there was a lot of corporate sponsorship. You know, you had Hyundai. The first year the ABC ran, one of the major sponsors was Hyundai and Hurley. So and
corporate.
Yeah.
Why do you think that dropped off then? Like what? Because actually, Sean and I were talking about like corporate brands not getting as involved. What do you think it is? Is it?
I'm not too sure if everyone's feeling the pinch.
Maybe
with the cost of living,
or they don't see value in it for their brand. I don't know.
Possibly. There's still, I know, Destination New South Wales. There's still funding available. I guess it's just a matter of the right people with the motivation.
So you've skated in. You skated in every single Bowl-a-rama.
No, I missed the first couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you skated in every other one.
Yes.
In the Masters division.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Against. Tell me who some of the people were in your division. Let's rattle off the names. Go. Come on.
There's Lester. Love Lester.
Kasai.
He's the best guy.
Come on,
ever.
let's go. Tick.
Yeah, Tony Hawk.
Tony
Kevin
Hawk.
Staab.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, Kevin Staab. Steve Caballero.
Heard of him.
Gravel Burns.
Yes.
Johnny Gray. Adrian Jones.
Yes.
Scotty
I've heard of him.
Spring. There's a good
Heard of
name.
him.
Wedge Francis. Adam Luxford. You name it. There's all. As I said, the good times brought everyone together, you know?
Yeah. Competitively, though, like, did you still want to beat them?
Nah.
No.
Oh, no chance.
You were just stoked to be
I was
there.
just happy to be there.
How'd you find skating in front of that many people?
Yeah, it was a bit overwhelming, you know. But you sort of learn to embrace it, I think.
Yeah.
Just look forward to it every year.
Yeah. Again, like, I'm a bit out of the loop in terms of why Bowl-a-rama dropped off. Was it maybe a funding thing? Or because, I mean, it must have been good for the area financially. The amount of money that would have brought to Bondi.
I think, I'm not too sure if dealing with council was getting too difficult, you know.
Council being difficult?
Yeah, more hoops to jump through, you know. So not too sure exactly.
Yeah, interesting.
And sometimes I think event contracts can run their course as well. Like thinking of when we had the ABC in Newcastle, I know events contracts might run for, say, you get like a 5-year tenure. We had supercars, for example, in Newcastle for a number of years, but that was only ever going to go for 5 years max, and then be up for review. So it might have been that side of things as well.
Because that's stopped now, hasn't it? It's pretty loud.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like an office.
Yeah.
You reckon?
Well, when it was on when I first moved to Newcastle, it was like one of my first nights in Newcastle, and I was like, "What's that fucking noise?" I don't know if I can swear. Actually, we can swear. It's my podcast, but I was like, "What's that noise? It's so loud. Newcastle sucks. It's so loud." Someone's like, "Oh, there's a big race car event on."
Yeah, it was pretty popular, but I guess it's not for everyone, you know.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Wow, man. I want to go back to that era we're talking about, early 90s, the infamous slow degradation of vert skating and, the infamous slump in skateboarding where a lot of people stopped. And, you know, where did you go from there? Were you still just trying to keep the dream alive?
I think still.
Did you start to move out of it a little bit?
Mid-90s, we were still skating a fair bit. I think it would have only been the old Sunday sessions at Mona Vale.
Yeah.
And then I think come 97, I joined the police.
97?
Yeah, 97, joined the cops. And then never stopped skating. The skateboard always come away with us on holidays. But definitely sort of took a backseat to relationship, marriage, kids, a career, raka, you know. So, but then never gave up. still skate every now and then, but not like we were obsessed before. You know,
Why the police force?
probably a myriad of reasons. Was something that I guess I always envisioned doing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I think I remember one day putting in a heap of ceiling fans as an electrician. I'd been crawling through the roof all day and I was covered in insulation. Probably lost about 5 kilos crawling around the roof, running cables, doing everything. And I come out and I walked up this driveway and my mate was driving past in the police car.
Yeah.
This nice air-conditioned police car. He's just put the window down. He's looking at me. I'm all dishevelled and covered in sweat and insulation. And I'm thinking, oh, geez, what you're doing looks a bit easier than what I'm doing. Might give it a go, you know?
Easier.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk. I want to talk about it because it's very unique. You know, I don't know many skateboarders, especially pro skateboarders, that did become, you know, in law enforcers.
Yes.
You know, and skateboarding it's a bit of a, I guess, a juxtaposition to the culture of skateboarding as being, I guess it's always had that underlying rebellious vibe. So what did you sort of notice about it in the force? Mentally challenging?
Oh, look, I guess it presented its challenges constantly. I guess you could say, you do tend to be exposed to traumatic and distressing incidents. So it can, over time, bloody wear you down a bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you managing that?
Yeah,
on a
look,
personal level?
I think having good friends, having a good wife, kids, I think there's a lot to it. Yeah.
Because I just know that, yeah, like some of the stuff, I've got so much, you know, admiration and respect for people on the front line like that who can, you know, deal with, you know, traumatic situations day in, day out.
Yes.
It's really, what would you say would be one of the highlights of your career in the police force?
I think when I left after 26 years, I still got nominated as the finalist for Police Officer of the Year.
Did you?
Yeah, so even though I was pretty worn out, I was still trying.
Why were you a nominee?
Just consistently operating at a high standard. Yeah, that was the award.
Yeah. I mean, aside from helping people, where do you feel like you're really making a difference in that profession?
Oh, look, I think obviously victim support, going through the process of going to court, being there for the victims. I think that was some of the victims have been through some horrendous things. You're not necessarily going to mend these people, but you're steering them in the right direction. And I guess hopefully the end result, you can give them a bit of closure on certain things, especially the more serious offences.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But were you able to just separate yourself emotionally from them?
Not always.
Okay.
No. Near impossible sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. It goes hand in hand with someone that is passionate about their job and does care.
Yeah.
You know?
So
I think it's really challenging.
Yeah, but I think if you've got that, probably giving me the 26 years of longevity, having a good circle of friends and family is that was probably the only reason that I could go for so long, you know. So, yeah. But no, very happy. Left on good terms, so, yeah.
You left on good terms.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it doesn't always happen.
It doesn't, because people who don't can then hold this resentment and grudge for the rest of their life, right?
Exactly, yeah.
You don't have that.
No.
Congratulations.
I didn't throw a computer out the window or anything like that. I just left gracefully.
Didn't try and get your monitor, rip it out, and then put it in the photocopier.
Yeah. Oh, it's been done.
Just I get that one when technology breaks down. And
Yeah.
Oh,
So no, left on good terms, and been enjoying retirement for a couple of years. It's been good.
Yeah, retirement. Wow, like I'm jealous, but also I know recently you went on an amazing trip around Australia.
Yeah, 25,000 Ks, full loop of Australia. Yeah, Gibb River Road. drag the caravan across there. They call it the caravan killer. But we got out the other side, no dramas. Yeah,
How do you feel how do you feel about the term grey nomad?
yeah, that's fine.
You're okay with it?
Yeah. But there's lots of young people doing it. You know, there's people. I think people's mindset's different these days. There's young people not waiting until they retire in their early 30s, early 40s, selling the house, buying a caravan, buying a car to tow it with, and just doing it while they can.
Well, if you had your time again, would you do it differently?
No, look, I probably wouldn't, because it's not. I think I've been brainwashed to just keep working until you nearly, drop.
It's a newy way, mate.
Yeah, just keep working.
Is there a respect to that though?
No, I'm not too sure. Things have changed a bit. Like I said, people's mindset's a bit different, which isn't a bad thing. You know what I mean? I think they want to get out and do things while they can, not leave it until, they're not so physically able to.
Yeah, do it in reverse.
Yeah.
While your body still works.
Yeah, I guess you can always work a bit longer if you have to.
There's also the fact that young people can't afford to buy houses anymore.
Yeah, that's a real sticking point.
I think that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Van life.
That's nothing wrong with that.
I don't reckon. Hey, John, can we go back to that last picture? Because John was with someone. Yeah, who's that you're with in that
That's
photo?
Simon Sack Reynolds. He's
There you go.
bloody champion.
Yeah. Why did you pick that photo?
Because he's known him forever, and yeah, Sack's always been the life of the party, So I caught up with him in South Australia. It was good.
Nice.
Him and Fiona, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Man.
they come around, and I don't know. One minute we were having morning tea, cups of tea, coffee. Before we knew it, we'd been talking for hours, and yeah, we're having beers. So really good.
Yeah, nice, man.
Yeah.
Love it. Just one last thing on the police career. Can you share of a significant moment in that profession
Ooh.
where?
I think there's probably one defining moment. When was that? Old school skate jam at Mereweather. What year was that?
Might have been
2006?
something like that. Maybe a
Yeah.
little bit earlier.
Yeah, I think I was probably a little bit beaten up around that period. And Cos had sort of reached out and said, mate, Fox has organised this old school skate jam at Mereweather. He said, we should go down, so I was sort of working on some complex cases involving kids, not good stuff. A couple of murder. I was a primary investigator for a couple of murders we had. And I was sort of feeling the heat a little bit, and luckily Cos reached out and sort of started going to all the old school stuff.
And do you feel like skateboarding sort of helped you through that period?
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as saying skateboarding saved me, but it certainly brought a bit of clarity to the situation. So yeah.
Wow. And from there, do you feel like that reignited your passion and you got right back into skateboarding?
100%, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long do you think the gap was? Because I know you didn't stop skating, but you said you really dropped off with it. What was the gap?
Yeah, oh geez, probably from 97 to 06, 07. Yeah, 9 or 10 years.
I feel like a lot of skaters have that. Like I spoke to Chris Markovich, I don't know if you
Yeah.
know him, pro skater, and he said that he had a solid 10 years of no skateboarding.
Yep.
And I mean, he was significant and then came back with a vengeance, and now he's 50, and I mean, he's a street skater.
Yep.
And just ripping.
Yeah.
So do you believe that some skaters sort of give up too early and think they're done sooner than they really are?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think I know I'm a better person when I've had a skate. So, yeah.
And surf?
And surf. But I mean, the facilities we've got now, it's incentive to look after yourself, because look at what you got to ride these days. It's nothing like when we used to have to travel 2 or 3 hours to ride skate park, or but what about the trips to Manly Skate City?
What about you, Cos? Where you at with skateboarding?
I still skate. I kind of call it skating on my own terms, but I live in the city now, so in Newcastle in an apartment. So skating for me is just getting out on the street, and the pavement is in the main street of Newcastle is awesome. So I just sort of gone back to where it started for me, like some more of a surf skating style, and just going from A to B.
Yeah.
But it's still the same kind of monologue going on in my head. I'm still Mark Richards on four wheels.
Is that what was in your head, Mark Richards?
When I was
the
a
pro
kid,
surfer?
yeah, because I lived sort of out in the western suburbs of Newcastle. I was out of Katara,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was all driven by the idea that if I'm too far from the beach, I want to pretend I'm surfing. But that's like the era that I came through, like the paradigm of skateboarding in the mid-70s. It was all about just lightning bolts on your skateboard deck, and try and pretend you're surfing.
What drew you to Mark Richards as a surfer? Was it
It's just that local icon.
Okay, icon.
And the fact that when you did get to the beach at that time, if you were fortunate, you'd see MR surfing at Mereweather.
Yeah.
And so you'd go home and loosen your back trucks off till they were nearly about to fall apart because you wanted that twin fin feeling when you were skating the driveways down your street.
Have you got an MR twin fin yourself?
I have had some MR twin fins over the years, but they don't really suit my surfing style. So,
Gotcha. Do you know MR? Do you guys know him?
We have interacted with him over the years.
Yeah.
He had a fair bit to do with the building of Bar Beach Bowl in terms of endorsing it, and with some of our chaos jams. I remember we visited his shop with Wedge and who's the guy from Melbourne that spray painted up those MR replica skate decks?
Dazza.
Dazza. Yeah. So we have interacted with him over the years, but in more recent years.
Wow.
But yeah.
So significant. Yeah. His style, whether you're into surfing or not, was so recognisable. You know, his bottom turns.
Yeah.
He's the king.
He's the king. Again, Newcastle, like you can rattle off so many greats that come out of that city. Like, I mean, Silverchair is one, and they get thrown around a lot. Amazing music, amazing artists. I went and seen Machine Gun Fellatio the other night, that band, and apparently a lot of the band members are from Newcastle. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, either did I.
You know?
Lower Hunter guys, I think.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of that other rock band that came out of Newey. Screaming Jets.
Yeah.
Just going back to Machine Gun Fellatio, I went to school with Marie Hawker,
There
who's
you
in
go.
that group. Yeah, she was in my year at
Of
school.
course you did.
That's Newcastle.
Yeah.
It's slipping further back. If anyone's ever seen Cos on a skateboard on a footpath, he is the embodiment of surf style in our scene, man. I can't do what Cos does in that flexible, surfy way. I just didn't have that. But Cos has mastered it. Still.
And the style.
That surf style. I've seen Cos skate something the size of this table and make it look like a wave. Like he has the style.
There's
It's
something
great.
to be said about it.
And when you say you're pushing down and literally the pavement in Newcastle in that section between sort of Union Street and the beach now is just, it's like glass.
Like that blue
it's
tile?
it's
Yes.
just so
grey
good.
tile? Yeah.
When Cos said, pushing down there, I just picture him just like bottom turn, hitting off the lip,
Wind in
tight
his hair.
turns. Yeah. It's an image that sticks in my mind from hundreds and hundreds of sessions on footpaths in Newcastle. Yeah.
So rad. Speaking of that stuff, I know that you skate and surf with your son.
True.
Sons?
Yeah, Toby, the little one, he does a little bit of surfing as well. Yeah,
Okay.
Little one.
he's more of a fisherman.
But Jackson became quite significant and at skating bowls as well,
Yes.
you know. Describe those feelings of seeing Jackson
I don't
ripping.
know. It's something about a big bloke doing a big invert that people like. I think I'm trying to think. Dude, I could do comparisons like Neil Blender, like just something about a big guy that can do a good invert, you know.
That's
I
the
think,
best.
I think that's the attraction.
Yeah.
So no, Gregor had a surf with Jackson the other day. It was fantastic. Yeah.
Nice.
So but yeah, love watching him surf. Oh, I love watching him skate, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm more of a street skater. I mean, there's a skater, Jackson Foy. Not Jackson Foy, Jamie Foy, excuse me.
Yeah.
And he's just a street skater, but he's kind of a bit more round, you know, a bit solid, a bit bigger guy, but throws himself down handrails and stair sets. And yeah, it just catches your attention straight away. You know, it's the best.
Yeah, I see that picture there.
I want to talk about that. So, can you tell us about the one?
See the one on the right?
Yep.
You might know where it is. That's Ulladulla.
Ulladulla
Years
or
ago.
Culburra?
Ooh, that's one of the two. I just remember it was down the south coast. I thought it was Ulladulla, but
Not
yeah.
Stuart Munn's ramp.
No.
Where you doing that India?
No. Oh, that's Manly.
Oh, I was going to say that looks
That's-
like Curl Park.
yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, you're
It's
talking.
the one on the right that's Jackson and me.
Is that at Ulladulla Skate Park?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
yeah.
fun box part.
Yeah,
No
there you
way.
go. That's from a while back. Yeah.
There you go. Crazy. Yeah, I was at the opening of that skate park. I skated in a bit of a demo at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adam
Was-
Luxford was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had no graffiti on it.
Who else was there?
There was no like really significant pros or anything at the demo.
No?
It was just like a pretty the opening. It was just a council opening. Local skaters came out. Adam Luxford was kind of like the pro that came down to help open it and skated. And it was a really significant day for me personally because I actually got a photo in a magazine.
Oh,
I don't get many photos, and Mike O'Mealy took it. So that day sticks in my memory, I cherish it. It's
Yeah.
just a very small moment in time.
because that was a really good park for that time, wasn't it?
For the era, yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
and it was attracting all the best. Whenever there was a pro tour in the country, they all stopped at Ulladulla. It was just at the time one of the best designed skate parks. The transitions were perfect, the coping was perfect, and yeah, it's become quite significant, I think. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, but I love that you put that photo in of you and Jackson, and then the other photos at Curl Park. Correct?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, Indiana at Curl
nice.
Park.
What
That's,
board is that?
Oh, actually,
Is that Nomini?
No, that's a Bonza, I think. I
Bonza.
think that's a Bonza one. Yeah.
Interesting. Nice. Cricket game in the background.
Yeah.
So Aussie.
I'm pretty sure Dave Pang took that photo. That India, yeah.
Dave Payne comes
Yeah.
up a lot.
He's
Yeah.
everywhere.
So what else we got, Jock? I want to keep. Let's get through because there's a bunch. Let's talk about this picture.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so who we got? Give us a roll call.
Oh, jeez. That's
Too many?
That's it. That's it. One of the ABC ones, I think.
Yeah. It's you can see the ABC platform, the bowl platform there.
Yeah,
there's
that's just one of the Masters comps. There's Renton at the front.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that Wedge Francis?
Yeah, Wedge. I think Mick's in there.
Mick
Mick
Mulhall, I
Mulhall.
see him, I
Yeah.
see.
Lester's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Um,
I can see AJ.
yeah. I think Kevin Moran's in there. Paulie Savos.
There you go.
Is Al Miller in there? Can you see Al?
Lovely. That's a great photo.
Yeah.
love
Lots
it.
of legends in there.
There really is, What a brotherhood. Like it feels like a brotherhood, I love it. With your son, I want to go back to your son Jackson a little bit. Did he really get into bowl skating because of Bar Beach Bowl?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think so.
How's that feel?
Yeah, look, that's a really nice result. We sort of nurtured a lot of kids through there. We've had Jed McKenzie come out of there. We've had George Richards. We've had Marley Ray. The list goes on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
just the bowl skaters.
Yeah,
bowl skaters.
exactly. Yeah,
Got some other legendary street skaters in the area.
we do.
Amazing.
Yeah, so no, it's been a good little stomping ground for everyone. But the new bowl in at South Newcastle is not too bad either.
Well, yeah. Did you have any say in the development
Had a
of
little bit.
South Newcastle?
Yeah, had a little bit. I think my only contribution to that was tiles on the extension and the little clamshell in the corner. That was about it. I think all the rest come back to George and Russell Grundy.
Russell Grundy,
Yeah,
yeah.
Russell. So and Convic who helped design it. Yeah.
But
So-
they didn't build it. Yeah, they designed it.
No,
Yeah,
they designed
like
it.
that.
Yeah. So
Mm.
I think it's worked out all right.
Glad to see it out of the ground.
Yeah, finally.
We won't go there as to why it
Nah,
took
it's
so long.
all right. A
I
few
have
little
actually
humps.
picked. I had Simon Bogolo on here. He's the lead designer of Convict, and I picked his brain. And these constructions, I think a lot of people don't understand really what goes into them and the behind the scenes stuff and the negotiating and
Yes.
the budgeting and the contracting.
Yeah.
You know, and then a lot of people whinge, oh, where's our skate park? This is bullshit. But
Yeah, I think, look, things that are out of your control too. We had a lot of bad weather, like 18 months of pretty much rain. I think a lot of work that went into the groundworks to just shore up everything around that area for starters. Like, the skate park was minimal compared to all the earthworks that had to be done to reinforce the shoreline path and that big embankment.
Yeah, because they had to put like special fencing for any land slippage.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's
And,
literally like, I think it must be the closest skate park to a beach ever built. Like, it's right
It's
on
right
the beach.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't project out any further than what the original one did.
Yeah.
So that sort of appeased a fair few people. But, yeah, and I mean, I think the other little thing, I think the people with the original mob that were doing all the earthworks, they might have gone bust.
Yeah. The job had to be finished off by a company called Darracon. So not so much the skate park building, but the civil works had to be finished by Darracon because the original builder, they it blew out by several $1 million, I think, maybe at least $4 million.
Yeah, so sort of exponential things that are out of your control, you know, and these things happen, you know. So.
Yeah, and like I said, it's built into the cliff face, and they've colour matched with the natural earth.
Yep.
And it already has a feel like it's going to be legendary. And continue to be legendary and significant, right?
Oh, I think that's a real important part of our history there. So, especially the transition street area, like that caters to so many people. So, I think it was a long grind. Excuse the pun, but we got there. Yeah.
I feel like it's really catering to George Richards and Marley Ray. I don't know if you've seen what they've been doing in that place already.
Yes.
Like Marley Ray, there's a 13 stair before the bowl, which wasn't designed to be skated at all.
I've seen the footage.
Marley Ray's ollied it straight into rolling into a backside 360 in the bowl. George Richards has been like back deckering one of the vert walls.
The vert walls, about 4 foot of vertical.
Again, I don't think it was meant to be skated. It's just like it got right up there, and it's really hard to get an angle.
Yeah.
Just pushing the boundaries.
That's it.
It's really inspiring, eh?
That's a Newcastle thing.
I know it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a subtle competitive vibe, I've noticed.
Yep.
Not saying it's a bad thing.
No.
It just means I've got to get off my ass and try harder.
That's it. Keep going.
Is that your mantra in life?
I think so. You just got to keep pushing through.
Pushing through
everything.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Would you say you're in one of the easiest times of your life right now?
Oh, definitely.
Why?
Oh, well, not doing shift work for starters. That's a bonus.
Not arresting criminals?
Nah, no confrontation. That's a good thing.
Dude, did you get any like police brawls or anything like that? Give me something juicy. You don't want to say.
Nah, it's all good.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
I don't want to stir that stuff up.
Nah, it's all good. I tried to be fairly calm and composed.
You are, and that's why I find it hard to believe that you were a cop, you know.
Don't worry, some people within the force said that I was too nice to be there. So
nice. It's a conundrum. Okay, I know we've got some videos and some more images. Here we go. We've got some hand plants. Now, that is
Curl Park,
but the actual, because I'm not a vert skater, it just looks like a hand plant to me. But I know that's not an andrek.
So that's a sad plant.
That's a sad plant.
Yeah.
Right. They both are sad plants. No.
One,
yes.
The black and white one's a sad plant.
Yep.
And the other one's a normal invert, and that was at Mick Jack's ramp in Adamstown. So,
Which is flabbergasting because what was that, like 7 foot high?
Kinked.
Yeah. To even be in that position on that ramp, as stretched out as you are and composed in an invert, is just phenomenal, knowing that you're basically coming into something about as budget as a backyard can be. It's pretty impressive.
Well, Mick Mulhall told me that they put the transitions on the wrong way around on Curl Park vert ramp, the upside down. Did you know
Okay.
that?
I had heard a rumour, yeah.
It definitely had, when you looked at it side on, it definitely had the flat bottom kind of had like a slight rise profile as you came off the transition. You felt like you were sort of going up onto the flat bottom. Yeah, so there could be something in that.
I don't know.
And
I don't know transitions.
it was really banky as well, wasn't it? Didn't really have proper vert.
In that black and white photo, what was going on that day?
I think that might have been the lead up to the one of the Bones Brigade demos, possibly. Yeah.
Nice. Tony Hawk.
Yep. Steve Steedham, Lance Mountain. Who else was there that day?
Oh, I remember Lance. Lance did a McTwist over the channel.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Lance Mountain.
Yeah. I think he might have done a frontside hand plan over it too.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah. That's gnarly.
What's it like interacting with legends such as Lance Mountain and Tony Hawk at things like Bowl-a-rama and stuff like that?
Oh, look, I guess it's a bit surreal.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's surreal. I think the fact that we're all there still skating is surreal too at this stage in life. But yeah.
It's surreal. It's good. Beautiful. It's beautiful. All right, what do we got next? Here we go. I love this.
It's another. That's Pangy. That's a photo of that Pangy took. That's an eggplant at Curl Park.
So, okay, for those that are unaware, eggplants are different because
You're planting your hand with your front hand.
Which is significantly
The
more
leading
difficult because you have to contort your body more to get around. Is that correct?
It's probably a bit harder than a standard invert. Yeah.
Okay. Am I right, Grav? Is that
You
right?
got to push with your arms.
Okay. Who said that?
McGill.
Did he?
Who said it?
McGill said it on it in the Animal
videos.
Chin in on what's his name's backyard ramp, Chris Boss backyard ramp. Yeah, I can't remember the kid. It might have been Danny Way. Some kid's trying eggplants and he can't get my eggplants round Mike. Mike goes, "You got to push with your arms." That's so funny.
See?
Sorry, that was.
I just remember Yabble Dabble from Tommy Jerry.
yeah. And Lance's
Is that
head.
the same movie?
Yeah. Lance's head sitting in the ground.
Yeah.
So silly.
Yeah, so legendary. Now that photo of you on the platform, sorry, can you go back, brother? The photo of you on the platform, so...
That's a Bowl-a-rama.
With Tony Hawk.
Yeah. And
John Gray. Who else
Kevin.
we got? Sasha.
Kevin
Kevin Staab, excuse
and
me,
I think
excuse
the
me.
other one's Mike, isn't it? Mike from the...
Oh, yeah.
Mike Rogers.
yeah, Mike Rogers, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Johnny Gray.
legendary.
The man.
There we go.
Eh?
Tony, look at him, the goat. He's just got the goat aura, Tony, doesn't he?
Yeah.
How much money Tony Hawk's worth these days?
Doesn't even matter. It's like,
It's beyond money,
yeah,
eh?
it is. Yeah.
He's kept it pretty real, don't you reckon, despite
Yeah.
all that?
Yeah, for sure.
I know he's done a few McDonald's commercials over the years, but we won't hold that against him.
Nah.
According to him, he'd trade a lot of it in just to be able to walk down the street, not
Yeah.
get hassled. Like, he doesn't love it.
But didn't he still have to have a security guard at Bowl-a-rama
Yeah.
when he was cruising
Yeah,
around
yeah.
to get a
Yeah.
drink and
Yeah.
stuff? Damn, dude.
So those other guys, like Elguera, Hazoi, Cab, they're big pros. They could just skate. Like, you'd wake up in the morning and you'd look out the window and you'd see Cab and Hazoi skating from their hotel down the street. Like Christian Hazoi ripping out, like, power slides on a hill with his bag on his back at 8 in the morning out your hotel window is a sight to behold. And they're
Surreal.
just doing that. And yeah, Tony couldn't leave the hotel without people with him. He couldn't go out for breakfast. He had to sit on his own. I mean, not that he wouldn't have hated sitting upstairs with a roof over top of him looking over the bowl, but I mean, he couldn't just be one of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No thanks, man.
Yeah,
I
and he
can't
says that,
handle that.
like, wouldn't, given the chance, I'd swap half of it for be able to just go and be a guy on the street.
Yeah. All right, what do we got next, Jock? Let's scrolling through. There it is, the layback at Bar
that's
Beach.
the layback.
Yeah, the bowl looks pretty new still.
Yeah, pretty pristine there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like just hang? Did you ever just hang out at the bowl when you got nothing to do, and just look at it and go? Like, did you help design it?
Yes. Dave Boatswain and myself designed it, yeah. So,
What'd you base it off mainly?
I think I wanted to factor in the old-fashioned vert ramp with the 10-foot curve, a foot of vert, 14 feet of flat bottom. So that was a big part of it. And then I just sort of thought, after skating Frankston and Bondi, I thought I could sort of just do the shallow end a little bit mellow, just to allow for progression, because it's given the kids somewhere to ease into it, you know what I mean? instead of, I guess the purists would want to see the shallow end go to vert, but not necessarily the best thing for everyone. So
Like a Bondi.
yeah, Bondi is fine, but I think this bar's a little bit more user friendly, especially if you're starting out, you know. So but it's worked, you know. It's
I think,
fine.
John, you said at one point it had something for everyone, which I think was a good way for you to surmise it. That you ended up with there was something to keep everyone happy.
Yeah, I think that shallow end's got like a 9-foot transition. We cut it off at 7. So I just thought as long as you can lock in a Smith grind, that'll do, you know.
Yeah.
So
that means it's steep enough.
it's steep. It's steep enough without being too steep, you know. So
Okay,
that was my theory around it anyway.
Okay.
So and then we just sort of concentrated on getting the right coping protrusion and just I think getting that solid foot of vert was a big thing because there'd been a few places that you know people were complaining that there wasn't a solid foot of vert. You need a solid foot of vert. So they were the two big
Am
things.
I right in saying, does that mean it's safer because there's less chance you'll hang up then?
Yeah, I think it's just easier for doing airs and inverts and vert tricks, basically.
Yeah, over the years, like, who are some skaters that have skated Bar Beach Bowl that really stood out, just destroyed the place? Like, for me, I kind of feel like people like Pedro Barros have just destroyed that place.
Sandro,
yeah, man, that guy still rules.
Oh, I don't know if you've ever seen the footage. He does a gnar jar in there, isn't it? The 540 to tail. It was just next level. That was amazing seeing him skate it. Yeah.
Okay, so he was like my.
Oh, for me,
I know there's been a lot, but a couple of standouts for you.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Grav? Any standouts?
I reckon the year Charlie Blair came and skated with no pads on was doing 6-foot airs to fakie and ollies to fakie, and like he'd slip off at the occasional one. He'd be dropping backwards off his board, and he'd just land like a cat and run out backwards with no pads on. And they were 6 foot in your face ollie to fakies.
Ben Hatchell.
Yeah. Jed McKenzie when he got to be a bigger boy, like. They do high air comps, and he'd blast a 7 foot. I mean, it's his bowl. He had the line, but he would blast a 7 foot frontside air in the square end. It's just makes my skin tingle just thinking about him coming along from being a little kid, literally not being able to look out of the bowl when he was skating, to being a guy who's up at the level of that shelter roof in the air. Perfect style, perfect timing, perfect landing. Yeah.
What are you, Cos?
I can't go past Alex Sorgente and Clay Kreiner. Those guys, Clay Kreiner, I reckon he took it to another level when he turned up. He was amazing.
They're your modern day standouts?
Yes, yeah. And I guess I was looking at it through judges' eyes too. So you're kind of like you're really focusing on the who's taking it to another level, and you're trying to quantify that actually. So it gets really interesting.
540 body variable.
Yeah, that was a moment.
Yeah. Hard to judge.
Oh, the Italian guy,
Ivan Federico.
Yeah, geez, he used to rip in there.
Yeah. Clay Kreiner, I feel like he's one of those vert skaters. He looks like a street skater who skates vert. That's like the vibe.
100%.
Kind of like that's how I used to see Danny Way and Colin McKay. They were like vert skaters, but they had such a street influence in their approach.
Like an all-terrain dude.
And I noticed Jed McKenzie takes that real no pads approach. Like he doesn't wear pads to every comp. Is that correct? That's his thing. Like he goes padless a lot.
He does now. Yeah. He didn't used to when he was a little bit smaller. He's a big unit now.
Interesting. All right, let's go, Jock. What do we got? Here we go.
Yeah.
Bowl-a-rama.
Yeah, inverted Bowl-a-rama.
And
then another layback. Yeah.
Look at that crowd. I've been nervous.
Yeah. I remember Nick Mendoza when he first got into Bowl-a-rama. Nick was just like, he didn't know which way to look. It was all too much. He did really well, but he got that first run out of the way, and he got that under his belt, and he was all good to go. So always good skating with Nick.
Nice.
John, did you Did you skate at the same Bowl-a-rama as when Shane Ayerst skated?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's
that was
right.
That was another Newcastle skater that we should mention because he actually got a wild card to Bowl-a-rama, didn't he?
That's right. Yeah,
So,
qualified
yeah.
through the ABC. And
Yeah, Shane's been one of our stalwarts over the years.
Yeah, Shane and Ant and
Yeah, for sure.
all those guys, Luke and
Yeah, I noticed that's a Jeremy photo as well.
yeah, that's
Thank
a
you,
gem
Jeremy
bot.
Rolling. Beautiful. And can we go back to the other image? This one. Where's that Smith grind at?
Yeah. Oh, that's at the Globe Factory
Yeah, right. In Melbourne?
in Melbourne. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Let's keep going. It's a nice one.
Yeah, that's just a frontside grind at Bondi.
There we go.
Miller flip. Now
Where is it?
that's a Miller flip. That was on the ramps that come from Canberra that got relocated up to Foster. Remember?
Yeah, the like on the Tuncurry side.
Yeah.
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 Was that-
Why, dude?
Was that like a it was like a grass skiing? They had a grass
That's right.
skiing
Grass
facility there
skiing,
as well.
Yeah. And they had the old Woden ramps there, but they had that W ramp. Remember with the two quarter pipes and the platform in the middle. Remember?
We skated that on the way up the Gold Coast that trip. We skated Coffs and we skated Junction Hill and a few other places. That ramp was terrifying because it didn't have a platform.
No,
So
no
the
platform.
coping, it'd go up to. It's a big. You can see it's a big ramp. It didn't have a platform, so we didn't go anywhere near the coping because you'd fall off the back of that and you'd just drop 14 feet. To the
Yeah, and it was thin. Didn't have a thin surface. It was, you felt
Yeah.
like you were going to go through it at
Yeah.
any moment. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Wow. Anyway, what else we got? Here we go. We've got some video footage to play. Is that right? What's this?
Oh, this is Ridge Street in '86.
Right.
This is a bit of footage from the comp.
Okay, now, when I spoke to you the other week, you said, I've got some video footage of Ridge Street ramp
Yeah.
that's of biblical importance.
Biblical. Yeah, that's me.
No way.
Yeah.
Has this been ever been seen? This
Oh,
footage?
no, we've been meaning to get it up on Facebook. There's lots of old faces in it.
There he is.
Young
How old were you,
faces.
John?
Oh, geez, early 20s, I guess. Little eggplant there.
Dude, I want to learn them. Could you learn them on a 6-foot mini, you reckon?
Oh, yeah.
I set myself a challenge.
You're skating on a Jeff Kendall deck.
Yeah,
I
Jeff
noticed.
Kendall, there's Cos. That's Mike.
Yeah, cause I love
Rock
those
and roll.
helmets. They're the OG helmets, man. It's guys.
It's the only guy one of the few guys that made that ramp look small. That's sick, Cos.
So how big was it? I mean, to me, it looks like it's under 10 foot. What is it?
16 foot wide.
Yeah.
And it was a 9-foot curve with a foot of vert. On that side, the beach side, it went to vert. Unfortunately, on the other side, the vert settled back. On that side, it sunk into the ground a bit and settled back slightly on that side.
No way, dude. That's crazy. Who else we got? I love this. So still Ridge Street ramp?
Yeah, still Ridge Street.
I love that you guys have filmed the TV for this.
We used to film almost every session up there.
Camera.
I used to have this sharp VHS format camera that I used to film with.
Yeah.
And one of our friends, Wayne Chapman, occasionally would he would attach a fisheye lens to it.
Yeah.
So we used to get all sorts of camera angles as well.
No way. That front side of cars was so sick. First one. There he goes. Wait a second. So you finished your run and then just dropped straight back in and snaked
Yeah.
everyone? Is that how it works?
It's a comp. It's during the comp. So you had a
Oh,
45-second run.
Sorry, I didn't realize. Sorry, guys.
This is Johnny.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a hipper. And that was me out. I was done after that.
That's a good one. Nice.
Is that Mick?
Yeah, that's Cos.
So
Oh, is that Cos? Right.
that's
Okay.
cause. Sorry, I got it wrong before, didn't I?
Yeah, that's Cos.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Ouch. So watching this, how do you guys feel watching this? Like, what does it stir up? Just take you back to, you know?
I
bygone era?
haven't seen this footage since about 1989 or 1990, so I'm not sure what to make of it. Actually, I know it happened. I don't know. I don't feel nostalgic about it. I just feel like it was just part of the road we've travelled, I guess. Like, we're still.
I think we're still processing using pallets as a flat bottom.
Yeah.
We're not over that. The flat bottom, that's Toby Maloney from Queensland.
Yeah.
Yeah. We built the flat bottom. We thought it'd be a good idea to make it out of pallets.
Got you.
So the problem we encountered was all the pallets that we scavenged were all different sizes. So it took us forever to pack everything up. It would have essentially been better just to build a proper timber frame.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is on VHS, right?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we
That's
got it converted.
brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So that was, like I said, that was quite a transitional time. We'd probably the only ramp around back then.
It
on
was
the East
after
Coast.
Darren Burford's, like you said earlier, Darren Burford's ramp was gone. Hully's ramp wasn't there. His fin.
Yeah, that's John Finlay.
This is John Finlay.
Yep.
Oh, this is amazing.
That's Finn.
Whoa,
Yeah.
crazy. Nice
That's
legs.
my legs.
It's just crazy because it's on VHS tape, and which is just really such a lost resource. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you could get that converted to digital, that footage.
Well, it's on.
Yeah.
We got it converted to DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother did this for me several years ago. He put this contest VHS across onto DVD for me, and then I just passed it on to John because it was
wow.
yeah, I think it was a Blu-ray format that I couldn't play at home, so I thought I'll give it to John and it'll be in safe hands.
Oh,
And it's surfaced for now.
Yeah, till
Yeah.
now I hadn't seen it until you contacted me, and I thought, oh, geez, I really need to have a look at this.
So
And
it's
then-
been about close to 30 years since you looked at it. No way. Well, it's an honour to be able to watch it. And yeah, hasn't skateboarding come a long way?
Yeah.
Wow.
Kenny Gibbons was there
Yep.
back in the day. Tim Dorr, Dale Halpin. It was
Tim Dorr, the founder of Cockroach Wheels.
That's it. Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
going to take the opportunity to shout out and thanks to Cockroach Wheels for sponsoring this episode. Been very supportive.
Yeah,
and,
thanks. And I'm riding the 58s. They're fantastic.
Cockroaches?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm riding the 54 mil Jackson Pills.
Yep.
And I think Gravel's riding some Cockroach Wheels as well at the moment too. Yeah, all right. Let's keep going. Some police photos. It's you and Cos, yeah?
Yeah, that was just after doing the law enforcement torch run where we run so many kilometres every day to raise money for the Special Olympics. Yeah.
Amazing.
So I was on the road for a couple of weeks, running so many kilometres every day, and it finished in Newcastle. Remember?
Yeah, I remember
Okay.
seeing you running onto the infield there at the stadium with
Yeah.
a
Or
there was-
limping.
yeah, and you were. I remember you were accompanying a special needs child.
Yes, that's right.
And ran
yeah.
on, and yeah, that was a really good moment.
Yeah,
So
so
good.
good cause.
It's a nice contrast, like skate photo and then you as a cop. And
Yeah.
then there's some surf footage.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's Cactus in South Australia, a
Magic.
well-known, pretty sort of gnarly surf spot, notorious with sharks. So,
How long
yeah.
ago was this footage?
well, this was on our trip around Australia. It's
Mm.
probably about 6 months ago. So yeah, that's Cactus. There is some significance there because the camp at Cactus was built by Dwayne Akita, one of the old skaters. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's me on a left-hander.
Uncrowded.
It was uncrowded
You just
that
set the
day.
caravan up there? Or?
We stayed at Penong, which is like the start of the Nullarbor. It's only about half an hour away. So yeah, but that camp there was built by Dwayne Akita.
There you go. Lovely. So nice around there. I've heard it's remote and raw and
Yeah.
sharky.
Yep.
What do we got here?
Just a bit of a run at one of the ABCs.
Nice.
I'm not too sure what that one was. Sean?
Masters Division.
Yeah. Not too sure what year that was.
So, yeah, it's one of the later ones. It's got two grandstands.
Yep.
They really, I don't know, it'd be great to see them back in action. They were
Yeah,
so
for
popular,
sure.
hey?
Yeah, we'll make an effort. So,
There it is.
backside tail slide.
Nice.
Just sweeping a layback here. There you go.
Yeah, John.
Only just.
Well, give us some context. How old were you in that footage?
Oh, that was only, maybe 4 years ago, do you think? Maybe 53 or 54.
You're 53, 54.
Yeah, maybe there, yeah.
Is Darren Navarrete just sitting there?
Yeah,
just,
Navs.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Mikey, was it Mikey Zion, the other guy? I can't remember. One of the
Oh,
guys.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, remember?
He had like a funky mustache.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
He did some really
Yeah.
amazing, quite unique tricks. Yeah,
Mm.
I'm sure it was Mikey Zion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's inspiring, man.
yeah, so I think that was a good sort of. The comps went hand in hand. This was a precursor to and a qualifier before Bowl-a-rama. So yeah, they served each other well.
Did, yeah. Exciting. But again, I just think it's inspiring for older guys who have maybe let it go
Yes,
and think that they can't do it anymore.
for sure. I
Mm.
think yeah, like I said, always pretty happy after a skate.
Mm.
It's a fountain. I think it's the fountain of youth. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Grav were talking about that in the car.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's keep going through. Is that it? Is that it? Okay, we've checked it all out, but it's been one of those things with the podcast. I never expected the podcast to go on a trajectory of unearthing some of the history of Australian skateboarding. Like now that we've had people such as Gravel, yourself, John Gray, Adrian Jones, and a few others. I think it's so significant and important to the next generation. So if you are listening and watching this, and you love skateboarding, maybe find out where we've been, so you know where you're going. Maybe
And push on through.
push on through.
Yeah, push on through.
Don't slow down.
Oh, I've got
don't
something
give
for
up.
you too.
Okay. Yes.
Well, you did mention the other day you were thinking about riding a 9-inch board, so
Yeah.
I've got this one. I've had that one in storage.
Thank you so
That's an Omni.
much. No way, dude.
Yeah, so that's 9.
So is that from the original one of your pro model shapes?
No, that was just one. Carey from Omni knocked me up.
Dude, thank you, bro.
That's all right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked. I'll definitely ride it. I'm actually like planning on like getting some knee pads and
Yeah,
gonna start giving the bowl a bit of a
Do
more
it.
of a go.
it's got a 15-inch wheelbase, so it's nice and stable.
What does that mean again?
Oh, it's just
Just more stable.
yeah,
Okay.
you got a bit of distance.
Thank you,
there.
man. And shout
Yeah.
out Omni and Carrie Pogson. If you haven't listened to the Carrie Pogson episode, I suggest you do so. Because, again, there's a lot of history there that is really, really good to know. And, man, this means the world to me. So thanks, John.
No,
so
all
grateful.
good, not a problem.
So, yeah. So, Mr. John Bogaerts, everyone. Thanks for watching. And shout out Grav. And thank you, Cos, as well. Cheers.
This was recorded at the Media Joint.